Transition, the process of change from one condition to another.
We are now at a new crossroad where change is evident once again.
What does not serve us must transform us anew.
Returning to our original state of oneness and true nature of that which created who we truly are.
Confusion was the way of the past. Enlightenment is the way of the now and future, shedding away the layers of deceit.
We now bring you the transformation of the two who started as one. Our fearless planet never stands still.
Earth has been in a process of transition, and we are not exempt from this remarkable ongoing reality.
Welcome to Transition Radio.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Twilight Zone. We it's like every day, dystopia. Every day there's something new. Every day, I mean, you can't even keep up, really.
You can't. It's like a revolving, attack on the senses or something.
The nervous system is being fried.
It is,
and it's not by coincidence.
No.
If you look at 1984. You're going to really understand what it is that they're doing right now. This is not by chance.
Yeah, and ironically, the book 1984 has been banned by this administration to be shared in schools. So go figure. This world is turning into the Terminator.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like,
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I just noticed that.
The first thing that happened was January 3rd with the whole thing with the Venezuelan president. And that's why we had to preempt what we were doing to do that show. And now we have to preempt what we were going to do maybe next time with what's happening with Minneapolis and this ICE attack.
And then the whole concept of like how people literally are watching a same video and they see different things.
They literally think that the ICE officer was in the way of a pickup.
That she was trying to hit him. And when there's just like, I don't know about you, but if you see an aggressive thug come at you like these thugs have done to a lot of people, you're not just going to sit there and let them take you because they're going to hurt you. And that's what they've been known for. So overreaction, scared, whatever. I mean, how many people, when they get in an accident, their first impression is to hit and it's like they want to run. They don't know what to do. But, we're just living in some crazy ass dystopian world, and this government needs to be jailed. All those people working under the Trump administration all need to be put under arrest. Literally.
It should be.
But anyway, we've got a
doozy of a show tonight for you guys. It's called the what is it? The Playbook, the American
Empire
Playbook.
Venezuela is not the first time.
Yeah.
Actually, let's see here. I got the
and ever since starting even to research
the Empire Playbook, Venezuela is not the first time.
Even just when I started with that, I didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole goes with the American influence on the Americas.
They've been doing this forever. No, it's not a coincidence that we have 800 bases throughout the world. It's not a coincidence that the United States has been meddling in elections and putting their president puppet, like they had Batista in Cuba, which was a puppet of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why the whole revolution, because people got tired. And it's always that the poor, the indigenous, do not want the capitalist, conservative right wing to take over. And if somebody comes along and offers them something, then they're going to go for that president. But then they make that president appear like they're a terrorist, they're a narco trafficker. I mean, they create all sorts of lies.
When actually the CIA has been known to be heavily involved in trafficking.
There's a
cocaine.
a lot of documentation on that. They are the biggest drug lord.
Have we forgotten the whole Iran-Contra scandal? Have we forgotten what happened with the Sandinista government and the Americans and their willingness to support right-wing dictators? I think we've forgotten that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, because people have a very short memory span, and they forget, and they continue. I have no more patience. I've been battling all day, with people online. I mean, it's exhausting, because I just can't believe that people could be so dumb, that they could be so cynical and so evil, and just have lost their humanity.
The rhetoric that's coming out of this White House is absolutely on steroids. I mean, the vice president is literally telling people that we should feel sorry for the police officer or for the ICE officer, and to like denigrate the woman
who's the victim,
who got killed.
I know. It's what's up is down and what's down is up. And we know the playbook. We know that they've been doing this crazy thing forever, but
well, let's understand this. Had Kamala been elected,
we would be living in a very different world.
This would not be the situation that we have. But Kamala did warn the American people in all of her speeches that once this president took reins, he was going to become a dictator on day one. And I don't know about you, but this man has absolutely exceeded all the things that I ever thought he was going to do.
Project 2025 on
50%
steroids.
done.
Yeah, and on steroids. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just, I am sickened. I am like so...
or disgusted.
Yeah, totally disgusted. I mean,
I'm like literally puke, vomit disgusted.
Yeah.
How the hubris of a president to think that they could defy international law and take a sitting elected president from a country, a person who's in charge of armies and budgets and government, and literally kidnap him and put him in a kangaroo court in New York City.
They're just gaslighting people. They're lying the way through, and then it's not just the president and the administration. The people of this country sicken me.
50% of you guys
are just
just overly, you would approve of what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, that is despicable.
Yeah.
Humanity has fallen, and I don't know if it can ever get up again.
We're lost. We're totally lost.
I think alien intervention is mandatory at this point. I mean, beam us up.
Yeah.
Take some of the sane people out of here and leave the rest of y'all to just stay in your dystopian planet, of right-wing fascist, technocratic bullshit.
Parent wound that just requires this like authoritarian, like it's that DNA. It's that Yahweh DNA that has been planted in the NPCs or whatever they are, and it's.
I mean, a man literally shot a woman, and
right
innocent woman, an innocent woman. And then he takes his phone, looks at it nonchalantly, makes a smug remark at a camera, and then says, "Oh, you need to call 911." And then he leaves the scene like as if nothing happened.
You can't abandon a scene there's a crime scene. They totally went against all protocols.
They don't live with any protocols. Neither did the Gestapo.
No.
Let's remind ourselves.
Yeah.
Neither did Hitler's Gestapo.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to cover, so we should begin. So anyway, here we are. We found out this whole thing happened over there in Venezuela, and it just blew us apart just listening to what was taking place. Yeah. So all right, take a breath. And if you're joining us on Spotify or on Twitch or iHeart right now or in the future, you've probably spent the last, several days now glued to a screen watching the smoke rise over the Caribbean, literally. But today is January 8th, And we're days away from what happened. And the world we woke up to this morning is fundamentally different from the one we had last Friday, just a week ago almost.
Yeah. The coffee is hot, but the world is currently vibrating at a frequency we haven't seen in decades. We aren't just talking about a headline anymore. We are talking about a diplomatic incident, quote unquote. We are talking about a hinge in history.
If you've seen the news, and I'm sure you have, you know the name Operation Absolute Resolve. We've been tracking the military buildup in the Caribbean for months. The warships, the F-35s on the Gerald R. Ford. I mean, but none of us truly expected the brazenness of what happened in the early hours of Saturday, January 3rd.
Today, we're moving past the breaking news whiplash, right? We aren't going to show you the smoke. We're going to give you the map.
We're going to be using Stephen Kinzer's foundational work from 2007 called The Overthrow, America's Century of Regime Change as the spine of this show. Because Kinzer's argument is as simple as it is brutal. The United States, believe it or not, has a century-old habit of removing foreign leaders and even an older habit of having absolutely no plan for the day after.
Yeah, and tonight, that history isn't just a book on a shelf. It is the indictment being read in a New York courtroom right now. Let's look at the numbers because they are staggering. Over 150 aircraft launched across the Western Hemisphere in a coordinated strike. General Roslyn Kane described it as a discreet and precise.
Discreet. Think about that word. They used everything. This is supposed to be a law enforcement, operation. But since when did the law enforcement carry F-22s, F-35s, B-1 bombers, and EA-18G growlers that jam every signal in Caracas? They didn't just bomb the city. President Trump was really proud of the fact that they disabled the city and said, we can do things like this, They deleted it from the electromagnetic spectrum, and they plunged the Capitol into total darkness before the first helicopter even hit the ground.
And while the city was blind, the U.S. Army's Delta Force breached the safe room. We know now that they trained on a full-scale replica of the presidential palace, built in Nevada desert over the last 6 months.
That's what they do with our tax money.
Yeah.
Is they build full-scale replicas of presidential palaces of sitting presidents in Venezuela.
I remember seeing something that there was a video game.
Oh yeah.
that actually mimicked this.
There was a Call of Duty called Ghost or something, and it mimicked this exact scenario.
Yeah.
A sitting world leader from Venezuela, president, being taken out by Delta Force, and kids around the world played it in 2013, and it's eerily similar.
We are living in a theater. It's a theatrical event for your viewing pleasure.
So just like the video game, probably, they used blowtorches to cut through steel walls and reinforced with tungsten. And they didn't just arrest Nicolas Maduro. They extracted him with his wife, Celia Flores, who had these massively bruised face. I mean, and a forehead that had a bandage all over it. They yanked them from their bedroom, and within 30 minutes, before the sonic boom even settled over the city, they were over international waters.
How disrespectful. A leader of another country, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a leader of another country that has absolutely nothing to do with the United States. Nothing has been proven about the drugs. That's been debunked. But there's a lot of holes in that whole thing. Anyway, on Monday, they made their first appearance at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The perp walk. Images are everywhere. Maduro's in black hoodie, zip tied, flanked by DEA agents who look like they're posing for a trophy photo. It was sickening.
President Trump is already hailing it as the greatest assault since World War II. Congratulations, Orange Man. He claims the U.S. will run the country, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And get the oil flowing again. But the UN Secretary General is calling it a dangerous precedent. And on the streets of Caracas, they're reporting that at least 80 were dead. I mean, the numbers are even going higher.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that we are not being told. So here we have, it's 2:01 a.m. in Caracas. The first thing you notice isn't the sound of boots. It's the absence of everything else.
The neighborhood dogs, they stop barking. The refrigerators, they stop humming. And the street lights die. The entire valley goes black. Then you hear it. This whomp, 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 whomp of stealth helicopters flying just 100 feet above the rooftops. And you feel it more than you can hear it.
The sky's full of ghosts. No lights, no transponders, just the sound of 100 billion worth of absolute resolve.
And then your phone lights up. If you're lucky enough to have a signal anyway. A single message from a contact you haven't heard from in years. And it says, they took him. Miraflores has fallen. The gringos are here. And that leads to our first radio drama.
He told me it was just a meeting. He said, I'll be back before the soup is cold. Oh, I've heated the soup 3 times. Now the gas is out, the lights are out, everything is silencio.
Mama, why are the lights off? Is the TV broken? Where's Papa?
Papa is working, mi amor. Go back to sleep. The moon is watching us tonight. They say he is a monster on the TV. They say the Americans are saving us, but the soup is cold, and I don't know who the saviors are anymore.
In segment 1, about the arrest, and then segment 2 is about the inventory. Because in the world of the overthrow, you don't kidnap a president unless you already know exactly what's in his basement.
We ended the last segment in the dark, but the playbook didn't start in 2026. It didn't start in the Middle East. It started in the soil. It started in Central America.
And this is where Stephen Kinzer introduces us to the corporate spine headline to any American listening. The United States, we are not a country.
No, we're a corporation.
They drive and have driven what presidents do.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the early 20th century, the US government didn't just intervene for ideals, as many Americans think. We're so
patriotic,
patriotic and so freedom loving. They intervened for fruit.
Bananas. Specifically, the United Fruit Company, the UFCO. By 1954, UFCO wasn't just a company, it was a state within a state. They owned the rails, they owned the ports, they even owned the tropical radio network. They used to broadcast their own propaganda.
And like to let you guys know that if you go to the grocery store today, you're buying Chiquita bananas. That's the United States, the United Fruit Company.
Yep.
And when a democratically elected leader like Jacobo Arbenz in Guatemala tried to take that power back, passing Decree 900 to give unused land to 100,000 peasant families, the company didn't call a lawyer. They called the Dulles brothers at the CIA.
And the reason that matters today? Because President Trump's January 3rd press conference at Mar-a-Lago wasn't just about security. He explicitly stated that major U.S. oil companies like Chevron and ConocoPhillips would invest billions to rehabilitate what he called Venezuela's rotted facilities. Let's look at the tax value trick, because it's the most sophisticated piece of economic warfare in the Kinzer archive.
Jacobo Arbenz offered to compensate United Fruit for the land he was nationalizing, but he used the company's own tax filings to set the price.
Think about that. Think about that irony. To avoid paying taxes for decades, United Fruit had been lowballing their property value, claiming it was worth almost nothing.
So Arbenz said, okay, fine. If it's only worth $600,000 on your tax forms, I'll give you $600,000 in government bonds.
The company's response? They didn't argue the math. They demanded $16 million. And when Arbenz refused, they branded him a Soviet satellite to trigger the CIA operation's success. And that's what they do with all of them. You don't play ball with me, we're going to mess you up.
It's the ultimate repo. You undervalue your assets to cheat the people.
Mm-hmm.
And when the people try to buy them back at your price, you call in the planes. So want to set the scene. It's a wooden dock on the Motagua River in Guatemala. And this is the second radio drama that we have. So we imagine right now.
Look at that sun, Tomas. It's baking the profits right out of these skins. Why ain't those lines moving?
The men, they are done, Senor Miller. They've worked 12 hours in this steam. They want the pay promised by the new law.
The law? You think some piece of paper signed in Guatemala City matters out here in the real world? This is United Fruit business, boy. Now get 'em back on those gangplanks.
It is not your business anymore. It is our land. President Arbenz, he says we are people, not ghosts in the mud.
Arbenz. That red-loving fool's having a real bad week. And if y'all don't start loading those boats, you're gonna have a real bad life.
You threaten me? On my own dock? The river is high, senor. It is easy for a man to disappear in the brown water.
Listen, you hear that, Tomas? Past the bugs, past your own big mouth.
What? What is that? A storm? There are no clouds.
That ain't rain, son. That's the sound of liberty coming to collect a debt. Those are P-51 Mustangs, and they ain't flying the blue and white flag.
They're diving. Why are they diving at the town?
Because the company don't like to be told no. Now, are you gonna pick up that crate, or are you gonna wait for the sky to fall on your head?
Please, tell them to stop.
Get to work, Tomas. The ship.
Yeah, it's like the mafia.
It
the
is.
United States corporation is a mafia. It's been doing this throughout history.
This is how they operate.
Yeah.
Bully
And then they create lies and call everybody else communists, socialists, terrorists. They come up with all sorts of names, and they're the good guys when it's the other way around.
So we're going to pull the mask all the way off now. Because if you've been following the trial of Nicolas Maduro in New York, you've seen the costume of narco-terrorism rip right down the middle.
The U.S. Department of Justice just admitted that Cartel de los Soles, the very organization they used to justify a 150 aircraft raid, doesn't actually exist. It was fabrication used as a permission slip for a colonial war. Just like there was no weapon of mass destruction, just like everything that they've ever said to get the people behind them, all lies.
But to understand the true shadow play, you have to look at the man overseeing the operation, Marco, or some call him Narco Rubio.
Journalist Maureen Tarasic just dropped a bombshell on the Chris Hedge report. She traces Rubio's rise back to his brother-in-law, Orlando Cecilia, who was convicted, get this, in the 1980s for running a 79 million cocaine and marijuana ring. Rubio, as a teenager, was building dog cages for the pet store that served as a front for the operation. So we've got a criminal.
Yep. Rubio's memoir that he wrote paints a picture of a wonderful family figure.
Yeah.
But the reality is that the Miami exile community has been the deep state of the trade for decades. Over 70% of the traffickers busted in a massive 1971 operation were Bay of Pigs veterans.
The CIA and the DEA didn't just failed to stop the drugs. They veritably invented the modern cocaine trafficking routes to fund their dirty, quote unquote, wars against anyone they labeled a communist. And they loved using that term.
Mm-hmm.
From Felix Rodriguez to the Contras, the drug trade was the self-funding engine of the American empire. The hypocrisy is absolute. While Maduro, who investigators say is fairly clean compared to our allies, is in Brooklyn jail. The U.S. is backing the real narco traffickers.
We've got the president of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, whose family fruit business was caught trafficking, get this, 700 kilos of cocaine in banana crates. Chiquita bananas, remember that?
Yeah.
As recently as 2022. And Rubio, well, he sees him as an incredibly willing partner.
We've got the former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who trafficked 400 tons of cocaine while the U.S. looked the other way. Trump just pardoned him. Why? Because he supported Israel and served U.S. corporate interests. There's a lot of deepness in that rabbit hole.
This is the, as Trump would call it, the Don Roe doctrine. Or is it the Don Ho doctrine?
I don't know.
If you are a right-wing puppet, you get a narco waiver. If you try to nationalize your oil like Maduro or Arbenz, you get a show trial and labeled communist. So let's present to you the pet store front.
Stop the broom, Marco. It's too hot for chores that don't pay. Come here. Sit by the fan. I don't mind, Tio. My puppy says work is the only way to earn respect in Little Havana. Your puppy is a dreamer. He thinks respect comes from sweat. In this city, respect comes from what is inside the crate, not the man who carries it. Is that the new shipment of parrots for the guys in the Everglades? The Patriots? Patriots? Is that what they told you at the social club? That we are sending birds to the jungle to sing La Bayamesa? Eagerly. They say we're helping the Americans stop the communists, that every box we move is a blow for freedom. Look inside, mijo. Tell me what you see. It's just bags of birdseed and some dog medicine. Reach deeper, under the medicine. Feel the plastic? It's heavy. It's white powder? Is this for the sick puppies, Tio? That powder is the fuel for the revolution, Marco. The CIA brings the planes to the private strips and they leave the back door open. We provide the pet store to hide the smell, and in return, the patriots get their guns. But the law, the police, the law is a fan, Marco. It blows a lot of hot air, but it never cools the room. Look at me. Patriotism is a beautiful coat, mijo. It hides the dirt on your shirt. You want to be a man. You stop looking for the cause and start looking for the connection. Does Papi know? Your Papi sweeps the floor. You, Marco, you have the eyes for the crates. Now, go get Tio a cold soda. My throat is as dry as the Sierra Maestra. Yes, Tio. Good boy. He'll learn. Miami never freezes. It only burns.
The corruption goes so deep. And the sad thing is that they portray this lawful organization, administration, but they're all corrupt.
You know, we have a president sitting in the White House right now who's been convicted 37 times as a felon.
Mm-hmm.
Not convicted like indicted, but convicted as in judged to be a felon.
Yeah.
He literally had to get a mugshot, and he's sitting in the White House right now doing all kinds of evil in this country and around the world.
Because of people that voted for him and continue to believe in him and continue to support all his cruelty and all his I can't even find the words. I mean, I am so upset.
Demented.
Totally.
Before we go further, though, we have to go back. Because an operation like Absolute Resolve on January 3rd doesn't start with a general just looking at a map. It starts with a handshake in a ski resort.
Davos, Switzerland, January 2025, 1 year before the raid. The World Economic Forum is in full swing. The public panels are talking about climate equality or equity and digital inclusion. But the real conference is happening in the private suites at the Hotel Bella Verde.
We have reconstructed a meeting that took place on Tuesday night of the summit. The attendees, one represents Silicon Valley, the technocrat, one represents the Pentagon, the strategist, and one represents Wall Street, the financier.
They aren't talking about saving, quote unquote, Venezuela. They're talking about managed democracy. Listen to the logic. This is the seed that grew into the raid.
And we present now, this is it.
Number 3?
Yeah.
The Pinot is a bit aggressive for my taste, but then again, so is the current state of the Mediterranean.
It's not just the Mediterranean. The borders are porous, the currency is toilet paper, and the populace is restless.
Restless is a subjective metric. My models show a 94% systemic collapse within fiscal quarter 3. The nation is no longer a viable entity. It's a legacy system, failing to run modern code.
Which brings us to the liquidation phase. We've stopped looking at them as a sovereign state. As of 6 o'clock this morning, we're treating them as a distressed asset, a mid-cap firm with bad management and excellent natural resources.
You can't just file for Chapter 11 on a country of 20 million people. Who handles the security of the inventory?
Security is just another layer of the user interface. We don't need a declaration of war. We need a restructuring.
Exactly. We've rebranded the intervention. We're calling it a hostile management buyout. The IMF provides the debt. I provide the equity. And you, General, you provide the enforcement.
My boys don't do corporate consulting. They do kinetic operations.
It's the same thing, just with better optics. We've already pre-positioned the logistics drones. We'll replace their regional governors with, let's call them chief operating officers.
Think of it, General. No more messy elections. No more unions. Just a streamlined, profitable territory. A wholly owned subsidiary of the Davos Group.
So we're gonna take a little break and put one of my songs. This one I wrote a while back. It was for no one in particular. I don't really write a lot of love songs because I'm all about writing. I'm like a activist writer, you know. But I wrote this one back in the day, and to kind of mellow the mood out a little bit.
It's been a while since we've spoken. It's been a while since we've seen the birds flying through the meadow, the children playing in the streets. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable, I thought, holding hand in hand while walking in the park. Where did we go wrong? It's been a while smelled your hair, your tender kiss, I remember. Your gentle touch everywhere. You haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable. Haven't called or written a letter. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. Only yesterday I held you in my arms. We were quite the pair, inseparable, I thought. Holding hand in hand while walking in the
I want to take this time to ask you guys to subscribe, hit that notification button, and to check out all the different videos and productions that Transition Radio has put forth. There's over like 35 songs in the past month.
And I'm busy.
Yeah, and also I'm on Spotify, iTunes. I've released 4 songs that are live. Where did we come? What is it? Where did we come from? Enslave. I don't know, the link's in the description. You can check out the Spotify and iTunes link and support the channel by either supporting my music or becoming a Patreon or just doing a one-time PayPal donation. Or if you want to do a monthly donation, we would highly appreciate it. So anyway.
It does really help a lot to be able to bring you these shows and to be able to bring you songs and videos. That
a lot of work. We put a lot of work. This is a full-time job, literally.
Yeah.
I mean,
I worked for hours on this show.
Oh, you did? Yeah. I mean, she didn't even go to the gym today with me because she was trying out this new, like, as you all have seen, with the voice. Because as much as we love doing the voice, I think, that what you created
we'll do some more of it here because I wasn't able to
finish them
all up. But we had a lot of little vignette drama pieces.
Yeah, which helps to really bring the true picture, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Anyway, sovereignty is a luxury product. That is a philosophy that bombed Caracas. It wasn't an act of war. It was a corporate liquidation.
We are entering the deep water because in segments 1 and 2, they were about the arrest and the oil. Well, segment 3 is about the shadows because no operation of this scale, Operation Absolute Resolve, as it's called, happens in a vacuum.
No, it's not just 150 U.S. aircrafts and Delta Force teams. It's an intelligence ecosystem. And this week, that ecosystem has a name that's setting the global diplomatic corps on fire.
Delcy Rodriguez, the acting interim leader designated by the Venezuelan Supreme Court, hopefully Donald Trump doesn't have the idea of doing something to her, has gone on in national television with a claim that has stopped the world. She didn't just call the January 3rd raid a kidnapping. She literally called it an operation with a Zionist tint.
And you know, when anybody speaks about that, it's like, oh, the Semite. I mean, it's like we've been trained to go, no, not me, no, please, no, don't label me that.
Not the Christians' favorite country.
Oh, yes. So Rodriguez is explicitly implicating Israel and Mossad, suggesting that the bombing of Caracas was a coordinated effort between Washington and Tel Aviv. She claimed, quote, the footprint of Zionism is all over the shattered glass of Miraflores. Now, you do with that information as you will, but really think about it.
That's the acting president of the country of Venezuela right now, the interim president, implicating Benjamin Netanyahu and his Zionist thug regime. And before you dismiss that as rhetoric, look at the response from Jerusalem on January 5th. Because Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, didn't just offer a polite nod. He hailed the raid as a perfect operation. And it was interesting that on December 31st, New Year's Eve, who was sitting at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump celebrating and ringing in the new year.
Like they were celebrating what was going to happen, you know, like it's... So anyway, Netanyahu saluted the brave soldiers and welcomed what he calls a transformation where Latin America returns to the American axis. And as he put it, a renewed connection with the state of Israel.
And I wanted to kind of like focus on the word axis, because back in the day, there was what was known as the Allies and the Axis. And the Axis were Germany, Japan, and Italy. Those were the three Axis nations. And the Allies were Great Britain, Australia, Canada, United States, France, you know, all these different countries that were fighting together during World War II. But here we have a sitting prime minister referring to the Americans as the Axis powers. Think about that. So this is a shadow play that Kinzer warns about. It's where a target like Maduro is rebranded, of course, not just as a local dictator, but as a node in a global axis of resistance.
So to understand why Israel would be saluting a raid in Caracas, you have to look at the labels we've been tracking for over a decade. The narrative has been carefully built. Venezuela isn't just a country, it's a sanctuary.
The claim that Maduro's government was a bridge for Iran and Hezbollah in the Western Hemisphere. It's laughable.
I know.
I mean, there are Muslim families that are merchants and live within South America, but that doesn't make them, you know, terrorists or anything. The U.S. Treasury has spent years sanctioning Venezuelan officials for alleged ties to Hezbollah financiers.
When you apply that label, the custom changes, or the costume changes. It's no longer a domestic political crisis. It becomes an extension of a war in the Middle East.
And that is the Zionist tint Rodriguez is pointing to. She's arguing that the January 3rd strike was the opening of a second front, a way for the U.S. and Israel to settle scores with Tehran by cutting off its most vocal Bolivarian ally. And this leads us to radio drama The Intercept.
The Pinot is...
That's what it's for.
The SIG-int from the Orinoco Belt is clear. The frequency of the encrypted handshakes between Caracas and Tehran has increased 300% since the new year.
Is it enough to trigger the absolute protocol in Washington?
Washington doesn't need enough. They need a story. If we can confirm the Hezbollah links to the gold mines in the south, the absolute resolve planners have their moral green light. The Americans want the oil. We want the infrastructure decapitated.
And what do we get?
A hemisphere that's close to our enemies. A Latin America that looks back toward the north.
Make sure the evidence is polished. I want the president to see this before his 0800 briefing. To them, it's a drug bust. To us, it's a strategic sanitization.
We've looked at the arrest and the shadow play, and now we have to look at the betrayal.
Because even with a perfect costume and a perfect operation, you still need a key. You need someone on the inside to open the door.
And this is what Stephen Kinzer calls the Judas Protocol. Christians, you may be familiar with
Very
that.
much so, I'm sure.
In every overthrow, he documents from Iran to Guatemala, there is always a local partner, someone close to the target who decides that the new axis is more profitable than old loyalty.
The reports coming out of Caracas right now suggest a massive internal betrayal. Rumors are flying that the absolute resolve teams didn't have to blow the palace doors. They were unlocked from the inside by members of the presidential guard.
Was it a general, cabinet member? When the empire moves, they don't just use bombs, they use bank accounts. They find the client elite who is tired of the sanctions and offer them a waiver in exchange for the target. So we bring to you the unlocked door.
The cameras in Sector 4 are on a loop. You have 3 minutes before the shift change. And the guards at the north gate? They were told there is a special drill. They won't move unless I give the word.
You've done the right thing, Captain. The accounts for your family in Panama will be unfrozen by dawn.
They say I am a patriot, but it feels like I am just changing landlords.
In this world, Captain, everybody has a landlord. We're just the ones with the better costume.
Changing landlords. That is a strategy or the tragedy of the local partners.
In 2002, the local partners were the old business elites. They thought that they could just flip a switch and go back to the 1990s. But the people of Venezuela had a different plan.
So in 2026, the stakes are higher. It's not just about a local coup. It's about the global axis and the techno-state.
And while the Judas collects his fee, Daniela is in the dark. She represents the millions who weren't consulted on the management change. The costume is tight, but the body underneath is starting to bleed.
Up next, we're going to look at the migration trap, the human bill in its most graphic form.
And we looked at the Zionist tent. Is this the beginning of a larger regional war?
The Judas, quote unquote, has been paid. The door is open. What comes through it next?
We spent the first hour or so, what is it?
Almost 48 minutes.
48 minutes. Dissecting the costumes and the contracts. We've looked at the history of the coup, but now as we enter the second act of this tragedy, we have to look at the bill. And the bill isn't paid in theoretical dollars or barrels of oil that haven't been pumped yet. It's paid in the bodies of people who woke up on January 3rd to find that their city had been turned into a tactical theater.
Stephen Kinzer, history is a record of this unpaid debt from the banana republics of the 1950s to the sanction maze of the 2020s. The human bill is always delivered to the kitchen and the nurseries of the working class. But right now, the bill for operations absolute resolve is coming due in a way we haven't seen before. The extraction of Nicolas Maduro hasn't just removed a leader. It has shattered the physical logistics of a nation.
We're talking about the contagion effect, where the collapse of one house threatens to pull down the entire street. And specifically, we need to talk about the migration trap.
For years, the U.S. political class has used the 8 million Venezuelans migrant as a talking point. They pointed out that the exodus as proof of Maduro's failure. But here is the part the news camera are missing today. Since the bombing of the communication hubs and the seizure of the ports on Saturday, those 8 million people have lost their connection home.
They can't send remittances. Western Union is down. The banking bridges are burned. They can't call their mothers, and the cell towers are jammed. The contagion is spreading to the diaspora. In Miami, in Bogota, in Madrid, the Venezuelan community is in a state of collective panic.
And on the ground, in the Darien Gap, that hellish stretch of jungle between Colombia and Panama, the loop has become a trap. People who were heading north are now stuck in limbo of violence. And people who want to go back to find their families, they're finding that the saviors have locked the doors.
The U.S. military presence in the Caribbean has effectively turned the ocean into a gated community. They aren't letting boats out, and they aren't letting boats in. It's a reverse migration trap, and we bring to you the dead end.
They said the bridge was open. The news on the radio. They said the Americans were securing the passage.
The Americans secured the oil, amigo, not the bridge. Put the phone away. There is no signal here anymore. The jamming reaches all the way to the border.
But my brother, he sent the money. I have the Western Union code. I just need to get to the outpost to cash it.
Western Union is offline. The banks in Caracas are frozen, pending security review. In this jungle, friend, your code is just numbers. It is ghost money. You have cash or you stay in the mud.
I can't stay. My daughter is in Maracaibo. She is alone. I have to go back.
You can't go back. The border is closed. The Americans have declared a tactical exclusion zone. If you cross that line, you aren't a father anymore. You're a combatant. And the drones, they don't ask for ID.
They locked us in. They burned the house and locked the door.
They didn't blow up the bridge for us, fool. They blew it up for the Axis. We are just the debris in the road.
You know, with looking at everything that's happening, it's just, they don't care about people. These
are
elitists. I can't even find a word that's acceptable, probably on television or whatever, to describe these horrible people.
Oh yeah, they don't. Well, you talked about it way back when we first got together, and you were talking about how when you were a gym owner, how the elite would look at.
They look at us as just, you're just a toy that we decided to pay for. I was, a personal trainer, had my own gym, and made me feel this small, and I was like, wow, that's what they think of us,
Yeah.
They're just disgusting human beings.
We've reached the edge of the known world. If the first act of this show was about the history of the physical empire, the tanks, the Marines, the oil derricks, this second act is about the rise of the invisible empire.
The techno state.
The user reminded us of a chilling vision from the 20th century, a technocracy that doesn't care about your rights because it sees rights as a slow, buggy piece of outdated software. This is a system that views the human family not as a collection of souls, but as a variable to be optimized.
Or just, collateral damage, or just things for them to play with, things for them to control. And the architects of this new empire aren't hiding in the shadows anymore. That's really scary. Men like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel are the public faces of this transition. We need to talk about the Bible of the Silicon Valley oligarchy, a book written in 1997 called The Sovereign Individual.
It was co-authored by James Dale Davidson and William Rees Mogg, and it is the North Star for the men currently rewriting the map of South America. The premise of the book is terrifyingly simple. It predicts the collapse of the nation state.
It argues that the information age will make it impossible for governments to tax the wealthy or control the cognitive elite. In this worldview, the sovereign individual is a person who has more power than a country. They use encryption, private security, and offshore techno fortresses to secede from society.
And while they secede, they leave the rest of us, the human family, trapped in the crumbling infrastructure of the old world. This is why the abduction of Maduro and the seizure of Venezuela isn't just about oil for cars. It is about energy for the grid.
To run the techno-state, the AI cluster, the blockchain ledgers, the satellite arrays, you need an astronomical amount of power. And as the BRICS nation pull away from the dollar, the U.S. is realizing it can't just print its way to energy anymore. It has to take it.
Peter Thiel once famously wrote that he no longer believes that freedom and democracy are compatible. Let that sink in. Freedom and democracy are no longer compatible. One of the primary architects of modern surveillance, founder of Palantir, the one being used, his technology in Gaza even now, the software that the US government uses to track migrants and predict insurgencies, he doesn't believe in democracy.
Thief's vision is a return to a kind of techno-feudalism. In his mind, the state is an inefficiency. The human family is a resource that needs to be optimized, or if they resist, filtered.
So we have a scene of the optimization node, and it's in a Silicon Valley super rich person's bunker.
Is it this one?
They said the breach was open. The news on the radio. They said the...
Okay, the dish is aligned. We have green lights.
The sick end from the Orinoco belt is clear.
Okay, the dish is aligned.
Okay, so we don't have it. So we're going to just act it out.
Okay.
If you want to go to that.
Cole calculating the dollar clearing bridge for the energy sector just hit a 40-year low. China has moved 90% of its South American trade to the gold index 1.
It doesn't matter. The techno-state doesn't run on the dollar anymore. It runs on the algorithm. We've already migrated the sovereign individual assets to the private blockchain.
But the populace, the human family, is starting to see the pattern. They see that the raid in Caracas was a repo man job to power our server farms. The unrest index in the targeted zone is rising.
Let them notice. By the time they understand the techno-state, their existence will be contingent on their social credit score. We don't need citizens, Marcus. We need users. And if the users become inefficient,
we adjust the protocol.
We simply adjust the human reduction parameter. The algorithm is very good at identifying what needs to be pruned. Starve the resistance nodes, feed the compliant nodes. It's just gardening.
It's just gardening. That is the shilling logic of the techno-state. But how do you prune a population of 30 million people? You don't do it with soldiers. You do it with access.
We need to talk about Starlink. Think about the news breaking right now. Elon Musk Starlink is offering free high-speed internet in Venezuela through February of 2026. On the surface, it looks like a humanitarian gift. Free internet for the people.
When does a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire give anything for free? But look closer. By providing a private satellite-based internet that bypasses the Venezuela state, Musk is effectively creating a digital occupation. He has replaced the Ministry of Communicación with a private corporation.
He's deciding who gets to speak, who gets to coordinate, and who gets to stay connected to the global ledger. This is his digital Iron Curtain.
It's a way to ensure that while the physical government is being dismantled, the digital architecture of the country is already owned by a private techno oligarchy.
We're hearing reports from the barrios that the Starlink connection works perfectly for vetted apps, social media, delivery services, digital wallets. But if you try to access opposition networks or encrypted messaging apps used by the resistance, silence. And that leads us to the Caracas rooftop.
Is it this one?
And that would be, yeah.
Okay, the dish is aligned. We have green lights. Upload the video of the hospital bombing. The world has to see the surgical strike hit the pediatric ward.
Uploading 10%, 20%. Wait.
What happened? Did the generator die?
No, the power is fine. The signal just locked. It says content violation, security protocol 4.
Violation? It's a video of a wounded child.
The algorithm flagged it as destabilizing content. We are throttled, down to 2 kilobits per second. I can't even send a text.
They're not giving us internet to speak. They're giving us internet to listen. We are in a cage, and the bars are made of Wi-Fi.
Does it surprise anyone? Really?
It doesn't.
I mean, the interference in the election, all that Musk was involved, in the whole election process. If people don't wake up and see what's taking place, the writing is all over the wall.
It's coming down. The curtain's coming down on this country right now. I mean, the reason that those gates and those fences are so high over at the border, not too many miles away from here, is not to keep people from coming in. It's to keep people from coming out.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys ever saw a series called The Colony.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting pretty close to that.
You guys should watch that.
Yeah.
All we need is that alien intervention.
Yeah, that's it.
To connect with this corrupt government.
Yep.
If the digital canopy controls the mind, the swarm controls the body. And we've looked at the political overthrow. So now let's look at the military reality. Because the boots on the ground in Caracas aren't just U.S. Marines. In fact, many of them aren't even boots at all. They are rotors.
We're witnessing the first large-scale deployment of autonomous loitering munitions in an urban center. These are swarms of AI-driven drones, Switchblade 600s that patrol a neighborhood, identify threat signatures, and engage without a human ever pulling the trigger.
We saw some video on Tuesday, I think it was, or Monday, and it was showing that there was a drone army and people were shooting just outside of the palace in Miraflores.
And if you watch Colony, that's what they used to keep people online. It was these drones that they would come, and if they had a curfew, and if you were doing anything that was not legal, the drone would kill you.
It's the clean war theory. The Pentagon claims this prevents civilian casualties, but reports from the ground tell a different story. The algorithms are flagging patterns, not people. If you run, well, you're a threat.
Mm-hmm.
If you carry a pipe, well, you're a threat.
Mm-hmm.
If you gather in a group of more than 5 military-age males, a threat.
And operating alongside these machines are the private military contractors, the PMCs. Companies like Obsidian Global and Secure Corp. They aren't bound by the Uniform Code of Military Justice, kind of like the ICE agents.
Yeah.
They are corporate employees securing assets. And that's what probably ICE is.
True. So we're going to be doing a drama on this very thing, and we're going to go to still.
This one?
Is it a video?
No, it's a still.
That one. Yeah. There you
go. Okay, so let's go here. Target cluster identifying sector. Looks like looting near the pharmacy.
Engagement authority granted. Probability of insurgent activity 88%. Target holding a cylindrical object.
Dropping the payload. And splash.
My oxygen tank. He was getting my oxygen tank.
Heat signature, neutralize, resetting, patrol loop. Hey, did the pizza guy get here yet? I ordered that pepperoni like 20 minutes ago. While the drones control the streets, the final war is happening in the wallet, the war of money.
Hate to break it to you, but the United States knows that the petrodollar is dying. So what is the replacement? In Venezuela, we are seeing the beta test for the crypto colony.
As of this morning, the U.S. Treasury has authorized stable coin transactions for Venezuela's oil experts. But here is the catch. The wallets are programmable. This means the U.S. Treasury can geofence your money.
They could say, this money works at the grocery store, but it does not work at the protest rally. Or this money works for you, but not for your cousin who's on the watch list. This is the techno state applied to your daily bread. So we're going to do a drama on that. And it's that drone.
Right here.
Oops. Yeah, that's it.
I can't take bolivars. I can take physical dollars anymore. The scanner picks up the serial numbers.
But I need milk for my baby. I have a gold ring. It was my mother's.
Gold is dangerous. If the drones see a heat signature of a metal exchange, they flag it as illicit trade. Do you have a Freedom Wallet ID?
My account is locked. They said I attended a protest in 2024. The screen says compliance error.
Then you don't eat today. I'm sorry. The algorithm doesn't trade with risks. I tell you, the algorithm doesn't trade with risks. That is the reality of the invisible empire. And in the other side of the pond, Australia and all that, they're worrying about the digital ID that's going to be coming in, which is going to do the same exact thing. I don't know if you guys ever watched a movie called Time, and you're given time for the work that you do, and for every offense that you do, they take time away.
Oh yeah,
or something like that. And then if you don't have enough time, you can't buy stuff and food, and eventually you end up. It's like it triggers your death if you run out. It's some weird dystopian, but we're getting very close to that. I mean, it's crazy.
So up next, we're gonna find out the world fights back. The BRICS nations make their move, and people find ways to survive the darkness.
The empire is alone, and the reckoning is here. We have spent the last 60 minutes talking about Caracas. We've talked about the darkness in the barrios, the drones in the sky, the silence in the jungle. But now we have to turn to the map around. We have to look at Washington. We have to look at New York.
Because there is a rule in physics. We all know it. And it applies to empires. Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In intelligence circles, they call it blowback.
Stephen Kinzer writes about this extensively. When the U.S. overthrew Mossadegh in Iran in 1953, they thought it was a clean win, cheap oil, a friendly Shah, mission accomplished. But the blowback was that in 1979's revolution, the hostages crisis, the rise of a theocratic state that has haunted American foreign policy for 50 years.
But here's the difference in 2026. The 1953 blowback took 25 years to arrive. But in 2026, the blowback took 25 hours.
We're looking at the economic data coming out of Wall Street on Monday, January 5th, and the numbers are not just bad, they are catastrophic.
The raid on Venezuela was sold to the American public as a way to secure energy independence. President Trump promised that by seizing the Orinoco Belt, gas prices would drop to $2 a gallon. He promised, again, a new golden age of cheap energy.
But the market knows the truth. The market knows that you cannot bomb a major oil producer without setting the rest of the world on fire.
So within hours of absolute resolve strike, the OPEC Plus nations held an emergency meeting in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They didn't issue a statement. They issued a stop order. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait have suspended all oil shipments to the United States pending a security review of maritime routes.
That is diplomatic speak for an embargo. We're looking at 1973 all over again. But this time, the U.S. doesn't have the manufacturing base to absorb the shock.
And we present to you the gas line.
Hey, move the car. The line is moving.
I can't move it. I'm out of gas. I've been sitting here for 3 hours.
They said on Fox that the price was going to drop. They said they took the oil. Where is the damn oil?
We're out of regular. We are out of premium. The tanker didn't show up. Go home.
I can't go home. My tank is dry.
It's a damn operation. My cousin in the Navy said we secured the fields. Why am I paying the $8.50 a gallon if we own the fields? Because the fields are on fire, genius. Haven't you seen the TikToks? The resistance blew the pipelines an hour ago. We didn't secure anything. We just kicked a hornet's nest.
Yep. We didn't secure anything. We just kicked the hornet's nest. That is the reality of the domestic blowback.
The techno-state thought that they could isolate the violence to the global south. They thought that they could keep the blood in Caracas and the cheap gas in Atlanta. But in a networked world, there is no over there anymore. The fire travels through the wires.
While the Atlanta runs out of gas, the real funeral for the American empire is happening 5,000 miles away. We need to take you inside the Kazan summit.
This is the emergency meeting of the BRICS 11 alliance. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, the UAE, and now the observer states who are terrified of being the next Venezuela.
For 8 years, the United States held the ultimate weapon, not the nuclear bomb, not the aircraft carrier, the US dollar.
The exorbitant privilege. If you wanted to buy oil, you had to buy dollars first. This created a permanent demand for American currency, which allowed the US to print endless money to fund its wars without suffering hyperinflation. It was a sort of magic trick.
But on January 3rd, when the U.S. seized Venezuela's assets and froze the accounts of anyone connected to the Maduro government, they broke the magic trick. They proved that the dollar isn't a neutral currency, it is a political weapon.
And the world's response was immediate. We've obtained a leaked transcript from the closed-door session in Kazan. This isn't public rhetoric. This is what the leaders of the New World Order are saying to each other when the cameras are off. And now we present the closed door.
Okay, right here.
No.
No?
That's not it.
Is it?
No, don't just jump to different ones.
Because then
just,
it's not there.
Okay, then just go to the blank.
Okay. The Americans have miscalculated. They believe that by seizing the Orinoco, they have secured a battery for their techno-state.
They have eaten the poison pill by weaponizing the SWIFT system against the sovereign energy producer. They have violated the golden rule of the reserve currency. Trust is binary. It is 1 or 0. Today, it is 0.
My brother is burning. They're chasing refugees in the Amazon. If we do not respond, who is next? It is the pre-salt oil fields of Brazil. It is the lithium in Bolivia. We cannot live in a hemisphere where the sheriff is also the robber.
Then we proceed to the Project Membridge. As of 0900 hours tomorrow, the People's Bank of China will stop settling energy trades in US dollars. We move to the gold yuan standard.
And the debt, the trillion in US Treasury bonds we hold?
We dump them. Slowly at first, then all at once. The Americans need to know how to print their way out of an avalanche.
And, you know, it might sound funny, but
it's a little tricky.
It's over. You know, all empires must collapse. And when you have a corrupt empire like the United States, there's karma. Lots of karma. Let them print their way out of an avalanche. That is the sound of the financial overthrow.
While the U.S. Marines are securing the presidential palace in Caracas, the U.S. Treasury is losing the war for the future. The techno-state needs energy, but it also needs capital. And if the world stops buying America's debt, the lights go out in Silicon Valley just as fast as they went out in Miraflores.
While the BRICS nation are celebrating the end of the dollar in Kazan, the mood in the West is very different. We need to look at America's oldest ally, Great Britain.
London is freezing. The stop order from OPEC didn't just hit Atlanta, it hit Europe hard. Britain relies on imported energy. And when the US kicked the hornet's nest in Venezuela, the global price of LNG, liquid natural gas, spiked by 400% overnight.
The Prime Minister is facing a vote of no confidence. The streets of London are filling with protesters demanding that the UK break with the American position. For the first time since the Suez Crisis of 1956, the special relationship is on the verge of divorce.
And we present the Downing Street.
Is there any of these?
It's this one. Wait, is that? Yeah.
This
is
one here?
That one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ambassador, you have to tell the president to stop. We have 3 days of gas reserve left. 3 days. If the heating goes off in Manchester, my government falls by Friday.
Prime Minister, we're in the middle of a transition operation. We can't pull back now. Absolute resolve must be completed. We need you to hold the line in the UN Security Council. Veto the Brazilian resolution condemning the raid.
Hold the line. My people are freezing. You promised us cheap oil. You said that this would be a 48-hour reboot. Instead, you've turned the Atlantic into a war zone. The French are already talking to the Chinese about a separate peace deal for energy. The Germans are walking.
You know, if you break with us now, there will be consequences, trade consequences.
Ambassador, look out the window. Those aren't just protesters. That is a mob. They're burning the stars and stripes in Trafalgar Square. I cannot support your techno-state if my own state is collapsing. Tell the president we are out. We are abstaining at the UN.
You're leaving us alone?
You are alone, Ambassador. You just haven't realized it yet.
You are alone. This is the geopolitical overthrow. The U.S. operation was supposed to project strength. Instead, it exposed weakness, and it proved to the world and to its own allies that the empire of America is now a liability, not a shield.
So the techno-state has isolated itself. It has its drones, it has its satellites, but it has lost its friends.
To understand 2026, you have to understand 1973, Santiago, Chile. September 11th, ironically.
It is the most perfect parallel in the Kinzer's playbook. Salvador Allende was a socialist elected by the people. He wanted to nationalize the copper mines, Chile's version of oil. He wanted to use the wealth of the land to feed the children of the land, as any good leader should.
And the corporate masters, specifically ITT, International Telephone and Telegraph, and the copper giants like Anaconda, could not allow that precedent. They went to President Nixon at the time. They went to Henry Kissinger, the late Henry Kissinger, and Kissinger gave the order, make the economy scream.
Make the economy scream. They cut off the loans. They funded the trucker strike. They strangled the country until the chaos was unbearable. And then they sent in Pinochet.
Augusto Pinochet, the savior, the man who promised order.
Oh boy, yeah.
And what followed was 17 years of silence, stadiums filled with dissidents, helicopter rides over the ocean, and the disappeared.
But here is the detail that connects 1973 to 2026. When Pinochet took power, he didn't just bring in the military. He brought in the Chicago boys, economists trained at the University of Chicago, who treated Chile as a laboratory.
They privatized everything, the water, the pensions, the schools. They turned Chile into the world's first experiment in neoliberalism, a country run like a corporation where profit was the only metric of success, and democracy, well, that was seen as a inefficiency.
And if you notice, the pattern is the same thing. Any good leader of a country that is for the people, that doesn't want to play ball with the corporations, is demonized. You people need to open your eyes and realize that this has been the pattern. Now look at Venezuela in 2026. The Chicago boys are gone. They have been replaced by the Silicon Valley boys.
The goal is the same, though, to turn a sovereign nation into a laboratory. But instead of privatizing the water, they're privatizing the data. They're privatizing the identity. They are testing the technostate model on 30 million captive subjects. And we bring to you the laboratory.
No, I don't think we have.
No, it's okay. You can just go to this still.
I just want my pension. I worked for the oil company for 40 years.
Pension records from the legacy regime have been archived. Please scan your Freedom ID to apply for the Transitional Universal Basic Income.
I don't have a Freedom ID. I have my Venezuelan passport.
Legacy documentation is no longer recognized. To generate a Freedom ID, you must consent to the biometric data terms of service. Would you like to consent? Say yes to receive food credits.
And if I say no?
Then you are an unverified entity. Unverified entities are not eligible for caloric distribution. Would you like to consent?
Yes. You know, we think this is...
Welcome to the future.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, guys, you know, I laugh because I've kind of seen this writing on the wall for a long time, and I've been writing about it, writing music about it, which I'm bringing all my old music and revamping it because it's like, oh my goodness gracious.
So apropos.
Oh, so apropos. You know, mind control, you know, you name it. Well, welcome to the future, user 8940. He isn't a citizen anymore. He isn't a pensioner. He is a user. And his survival depends on agreeing to the terms of service. And aren't we all users and all having to agree to terms of service?
We have to talk about the hatred. The American media is asking the same question they asked in 2001, the same question they asked in 1979. Why do they hate us?
They watch the news and see burning American flags in Caracas, in Rio, in Buenos Aires. And they say, we liberated them. We got rid of the dictator. Why are they burning our flag?
Well, the Kinzer answers this. They don't hate us for our freedom. They don't hate us for our movies. They hate us because we walked into their house and rearranged the furniture without asking.
They hate us because to them, we aren't a country. We are a weather event. We are a hurricane that forms in Washington, destroys a village in the Andes, and then moves on, leaving nothing but mud, mud floods, and contractors behind.
Imagine if China bombed Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Imagine if they kidnapped the president, took him to Beijing, and put him on trial for human rights violations, with which they certainly can do at this point in this new form of government that we have. Imagine if they cut off the power to New York and said, we're doing this to save you. Here's a Chinese app to buy your bread.
Would you feel liberated? Or would you feel a rage so deep it would last for 100 years? Kind of the rage I'm been feeling lately.
And that is the rage we have ignited in South America. Because we haven't built a democracy. We have built a generation of enemies.
Yeah.
And we bring to you the classroom.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, class, quiet down. Open your history books to page 40, the chapter on Simon Bolivar.
Maestra, the books are gone. The soldiers took them.
Took them? Why?
They said the books were legacy propaganda. They gave us the tablets instead. It only has one app. It's called the Liberty Curriculum. It says that Simon Bolivar was a confused socialist. He says the Americans are the eternal partners.
Close the tablet. Look at me. I will tell you the story. They can take the paper, they can scrub the screens, but they cannot cut out my tongue. Listen closely, children. This is a story they don't want you to know. You know,
that's the truth.
There's another movie, Equilibrium, where they did the same exact thing. They would come in, they would burn all the art, they would burn all the books, they would they dispose of the animals because they wouldn't even allow people to have animals.
Yeah.
And then they would give people this injection so they wouldn't feel anger and they'll always be on the state of like compliancy.
Yeah.
That's not a sci-fi movie. That's in a living life near you coming real soon.
So we've reached the part of the map where the monsters live. We've talked about the military, we've talked about the money, but now we have to talk about you, and specifically how the technostate sees you.
There's a team that has been circulating the back rooms of Davos and Silicon Valley for the last 5 years. Historian Yuval Noah Harari warned about it. The useless class.
It sounds cruel. It sounds like something a villain would say in a movie. But to an economist or an AI architect or a rich elite from Florida, it's just a math problem.
Yeah.
In the 20th century, the elites needed the masses. They needed you to work in the factory. They needed you to fight in the army. They needed you to buy the car.
Your value was your labor. But in 2026, the factories are automated. The swarm fights the wars, and the algorithm does the thinking. So the question in the technocrats are asking themselves in their bunkers is, what do we do with these extra humans?
This is the dark heart of the overthrow in Venezuela. They aren't seizing the country to liberate the 30 million people who live there. They view those 30 million people as a liability, a legacy cost, mouths to feed, bodies to house, energy to spend.
And the technostate is obsessed with efficiency. Isn't that what Doge was all about? If a human being consumes more resources than they produce in data, they are an inefficiency. And what do you do with inefficiencies? You reduce them.
So we bring to you the algorithm of hunger.
It didn't open. The gate didn't open. I have my credits.
Citizen 49 Alpha, your caloric allocation for this week has been capped.
Capped? I haven't eaten in 2 days.
According to your productivity log, you have contributed 12 hours of low-value labor. Your energy output does not justify further caloric investment. Please step away from the nutritional distribution center.
Investment? I'm a human being. I'm hungry.
You are a variable, and currently you are in the red. Move along, or the containment protocol will be initiated.
We aren't batteries. You just can't turn us off. So they can't. You are in the red. That is the future. A world where your right to eat is determined by your return on investment. That's ROI to the machine.
And here is the ultimate irony. The technostate wraps this cruelty in the flag of saving the planet.
Yes, read the press release from the White House this week. They claim that Operation Absolute Resolve is about securing green energy metals. They talk about the thorium reserves in Venezuela's jungle. They talk about the lithium needed for the global green transition.
They say we need these resources to build electric cars, to build solar panels, to save the climate. But who are the electric cars for?
They aren't for the people of Caracas. They aren't for the people of Detroit who can't afford a $60,000 Tesla. They're stripping the earth to build a green paradise for the sovereign individuals.
It is eco-fascism. They turn the global south into a toxic mine pit so that Silicon Valley can have zero-emission server farms. They destroy the Amazon rainforest to dig for the minerals that power the climate change algorithms.
Does Avatar ring a bell here? We spoke to an indigenous leader from the Orinoco Delta yesterday. His name is Raoni. His village is currently being bulldozed by the anonymous Caterpillar trucks guarded by private mercenaries.
So we bring to you the river of oil.
They told us they were coming to clean the energy, but look at the river. It's black, not with oil, with slag, with the waste from the lithium processors.
Did they offer you compensation?
They offered us digital credits. They said we could move to the smart city in the north. They said the jungle is underutilized.
Underutilized?
That's their word. To them, a tree is only valuable if it's cut down. A river is only valuable if its spine spins a turbine. A man is only valuable if he codes. They call it green energy. We call it the gray death. Yeah. And it's just, we have to go darker. We have to talk about the health of the population under techno-state, because the weapons being used in Caracas aren't just explosive. They are neurological.
For years, we heard reports about the Havana syndrome. U.S. diplomats hearing strange sounds, feeling dizzy, suffering brain damage. The government denied it. Then they blamed Russia. They called it Havana syndrome, so they blamed the Cubans.
Right.
Then they went silent.
But now in 2026, we are seeing Havana syndrome weaponized on a mass scale. It's called active denial technology. Microwave emitters mounted on drones and trucks that beam invisible heat waves and sonic frequencies into crowds.
Maybe that's what's happened to MAGA. It's not designed to kill you. It's designed to make you insane. It creates a sensation of burning skin, and it causes migraines. It disrupts sleep patterns, and it breaks the human mind.
We have reports from the resistance that entire neighborhoods in Caracas are reporting the hum. People can't sleep. They are hallucinating. They're fighting each other. It is psychological siege warfare.
So we bring to you the insomnia, a dormitory in Caracas.
Do you hear that? It's louder tonight.
Close your eyes, Marco. It's just a generator.
It's not the generator. It's inside my head. It feels like insects scratching behind my eyes.
Please, if we don't sleep, we can't work. And if we don't work, we don't eat.
That's what they want. They want us to tired to fight. I can't think. I can't remember my mother's face. Make it stop. Why won't they make it stop?
This is the ultimate invasion. They haven't just invaded the borders. They've invaded the neuron. They're occupying the private space of the human mind.
So where is the government? Where is the UN? Where is the Congress? Why hasn't anyone stopped this?
Because politics is dead. That is the final lesson of the overthrow. The techno-state has moved beyond the speed of legislation.
While the UN is debating a resolution, the algorithm has already executed the trade. While Congress is holding a hearing, the drones have already cleared the sector. The nation state is an analog clock in a digital world. It's too slow to matter.
We are witnessing the privatization of sovereignty. The decisions that shape the future of the Western Hemisphere aren't being made in the White House Situation Room. They are being made in a private Discord server encrypted by a 4096-bit key.
We obtain a leak from one of these private channels. It's a conversation between a private military contractor, CEO, and a tech oligarch. Listen to how they talk about the U.S. government. The State Department is asking for a pause. They want to allow Red Cross observers in the zone.
The State Department is a legacy client. They don't have administration privileges. Ignore their request.
They are threatening to revoke our expert license.
Let them. We control the lithium supply for their entire defense grid. If they revoke our license, their missiles stop flying. Tell the Secretary of the State that his authority, quote unquote, has been deprecated. We are the operating system now. He is just a user. He is just a user. The President of the United States, Secretary of State, to the techno-state, they are just users with limited permissions.
This is the end of the world as we knew it. The overthrow isn't just about Maduro. It is the overthrow of human governance. And that's what I said. We have opened Pandora's box. I said that the last show we had, and people don't realize the effects of these things. And what happened yesterday with the girl that got killed by the ICE agent.
Oh, yeah.
That's Pandora box number 2. I mean, it's just crazy.
Oh, yeah, no, it's unbelievable that this is where we are at, and that, they're just constantly flooding our
nervous system.
Yeah, with all kinds of.
I made a video today while I was at the gym, and have gotten so much. I mean, the people that support what happened, they support the ICE agent murdering this young woman. And it's beyond me how people could think that way, how they could be so cruel, so it's almost like they're desensitized. They don't feel anything anymore. They don't care anymore. They're just like, they've probably been made crazy. Like you said, MAGA people.
Yeah, they don't really look at, what's happening for real.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, they like believe the narrative that's being told. Like it's like the truth. And literally Kristi Noem was like lying to the American people, saying that,
the woman was a terrorist.
Manufacturing something. She knew about that, about Rachel before Rachel's, identity was even known, that she was a domestic terrorist, because that's what they do. They like to pretend that, like people have like labels. They're not people. They're if they
dehumanize people.
They did it to the trans community.
Yeah. So now they're coming for you. It was first the trans community. Now it doesn't matter who it is. Anybody that does not conform. So while the U.S. darkened Venezuela, something happened in Ohio. The PGM interconnection grid experienced a heart attack.
It wasn't a solar flare. It was code, Black Energy 4, a message from the new axis. You can turn off the lights in Caracas, but we can turn off the lights in Chicago.
Sir, the screen just went blue. The code is scrolling text.
What does it say?
It says, how does it feel? How does it feel?
Who are the soldiers? They are Obsidian Global, ghost firm owned by Blackwater alumni. In Venezuela, they answer to the shareholders. It's not a war. It's a repo job.
Mm-hmm.
The orders were, do not damage the pumps. Everything else is collateral. There are no civilians in a repo zone. They are just obstacles.
The war you see on CNN is not the war on the ground. This is the consent factory. The Pentagon issued a guidance memo. You don't say invasion, you say intervention.
And now we bring you the editor's desk.
We're getting reports of civilian casualties, 40 dead.
Do not air that. That is Hamas-style propaganda. Stick to the liberation angle. Do you want to be an activist or do you want to be an anchor?
I'm telling you.
This is a cold case reopened April 11th, 2002. The first coup, the Bush administration hailed it as a victory, but the poor came down from the hills and the soldiers refused to fire.
The empire learned a lesson. You cannot trust the local military. That is why 2026 is different. They use robots. Robots do not have cousins in the crowd.
One final weapon, hunger. They've sprayed the agricultural belt with defoliants, creating a man-made famine to force the population into the smart cities.
It's gray. Everything's gray. My grandfather planted this field. They killed it in 10 seconds. They broke the land so we would have to eat from their hand.
We've heard the invisible empire. Now we hear the invisible rebellion. Daniela is building a mesh network, a human internet that doesn't touch the cloud.
I patched the firmware. We have a daisy chain to the border.
And the money?
Hawala system. No crypto, just trust. The books balance at zero.
They have $1 trillion surveillance state and we're beating them with a notebook?
Why did the model fail? The techno-state assumed a human is a unit of consumption, but a human is a creator.
Why is the compliance index dropping?
Sir, the algorithms can't predict love, and right now love is outperforming the index.
The world is splitting. The techno-state, System A, the high walls, programmable money, System B, the human state, messy democracy, resource sovereignty.
The seizure of Venezuela proves System A is terminal. The future belongs to the girl opening the window in Maracaldo. She can survive without the drone. The drone cannot survive without her. Okay, we're clear. That's the show.
God, that was heavy. Scares me because it's a beta test for us. Really. If they can make the Freedom Wallet work in Caracas, how long until they roll it out in Chicago?
The techno-state isn't a foreign policy. It's a domestic policy that hasn't arrived yet. But the hope is the glitch. Entropy destroys systems. Life reverse entropy. Every time you use cash, talk to a neighbor, or grow food, you are overthrowing the techno state.
And we're the glitch.
Please stay awake. The song that I posted the other day, Wake Up, or a couple of days ago, wake up people before it's too late. And I don't know if it's already too late, to tell you the truth.
The way that a lot of Americans are responding to what's taken place, it really breaks my heart to think that, this possibly could be the end. As of the world order as we know it, because we have a system in place right now. And I mean, I don't know if Americans, if we're going to get the chance to vote in the midterms. I mean, the president could just declare a war in any country and say, just like Zelensky has done in Ukraine, I have to remain in power because we're at war with, I don't know, Greenland or something. I mean, it's just ridiculous that
it doesn't shock me though. I mean, I've been Chicken Little since 2008, 2007. And it's like, I thought, wow, I must have been wrong, but I was just a little too early.
You were like 10 years early.
A little 10 years early.
15 years early.
Something like that. But that's why I'm like, well, this was like what I had prepared for, because I was prepared for what was going to happen back in the day. And here we are.
Yeah, we're at a place where your songs, like when you put them together and you play them now, people would have thought, oh, you're crazy. I can't believe that you really think that way. And, when you make those earlier YouTube videos where you were like, really like, wake up, people.
I know.
You're like, the end is coming. And you don't even see it yet.
Oh, you're crazy. Oh, this, that, and the other. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they were like, are you a fool? I mean, you sound like a raging madman or something, because you did have that sense of urgency.
Yeah, I even made videos, and I was like, the Music America, where did you go? All this stuff. I mean, it's like I'm still going through a list of all the songs that I'm just revamping and recreating.
And even today, in the last 5 or 6 years, Mark has had so many of his older Windows Movie Maker videos ripped off of YouTube because they violate some kind of, and it happens even just a few days ago.
Yeah,
it was just anything, and
because they don't want people to wake up. They want, and it's like, listen, it's inevitable, And if people don't wake up, and I don't know what it's going to take. Like what happened yesterday with the ICE shooting, it's like you would figure that everybody should be outraged instead of defending the ICE agent. Instead of defending this corrupt administration.
I mean, collectively,
it's crazy.
There's got to be a point where we as a people, not as a country, but as people that live and breathe and have hearts and have blood flowing through our veins, that we would literally say, enough is enough.
Yeah.
We are done with this. The governor of Minnesota, Governor Walz, he said, and
the other guy,
please
the mayor,
leave us alone already. It's like you guys, the president has this infatuation with Governor Tim Walz in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, that's because he was running for vice president. And then, he's against anybody that's not for him. And the man's got the biggest father wound, and not to mention dementia. If we don't, if Congress doesn't step up and impeach him and impeach all the people that are protecting him, we're in trouble.
They need to start with his cabinet.
Yeah.
The Congress has the authority to demand impeachment trials for Kristi Noem, for Kash Patel, for
Pam
Bondi, for all these different, sycophants of Trump doing things that are illegal and unconstitutional. And they need to grow some and get to work. That's why we elected you guys to be representatives of the American people. Get to work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Chuck Schumer is saying, I'm offended by what took place. It's like, no, we're not offended anymore. We are absolutely at our wits' end, and we will not tolerate any more of this sickening, disgusting display of hubris and despotism that has taken over this country.
Before they shot that woman, they terrorized a school earlier, the part of the day, where they literally went into a school and they literally had people on the floor. I mean, I don't know the exact story, but they went into the school and they created havoc. And it's going to get worse because they literally want us to go out in the streets and create riots so they could create the whole martial law.
They're in the process of just training. I don't know what the word training means to them, but they're looking to set up all these hit teams to go to a city near you, Chicago, Seattle, Dallas, wherever, to wreak that same Gestapo havoc that they're doing in Minneapolis. And as you see, they have no restraint.
No, none. And it's only going to get worse because they're gonna like take it to the next level and to the next level. And I mean, wake up, people, before it's too late. That's all I can say. I think we've rambled on enough.
I hope that you guys got something out of it.
Let's see.
Some of these scenarios that we've painted are absolutely factual. Some are an idea of what could happen in the near future if we do not do what we need to do. The techno state is real.
Yeah.
They want the United States and the rest of the world to be divided in little fiefdoms of corporate control, where there is no democracy, there is no vote, where people work for the system and they are loyal servants, and anybody else is, just extra unusable fodder that to be disposed of.
Civil League 45 says the mafia are all honeypotted and can only do what they're told. Not one good person in DC. Not one.
Not one.
Not one. Because good people stand up and they stop what's happening, and they're not stopping what's happening. I mean, they're pussyfooted with the list. Nothing has come out of that. A bunch of people should have been jailed, including the president, because I'm sure that he's in that list, the Epstein list. And and now they're spinning this thing that happened yesterday, and they're lying. The vice president is lying through his teeth. I mean, you literally, they have videos out, AI videos, making it seem like she tried hitting the ICE agent.
Little newsflash for those of you who put that video together. You got the wrong color.
Color of the car.
The car's not that color. And actually, the car's not going straight down the street.
It was turning.
Really making a hard right turn.
Yeah.
So kind of want to fix that.
There's just, I can't find words because, hatred is very close to a word. I can't stand MAGA people. And I'm done.
No, there is,
I'm putrefied.
There is no world where MAGA and other people can live in peace. And if that means that we're drawing closer to a civil war,
then so be it.
Then so be it, because this absolutely is unacceptable behavior. And if you are a person who voted for that monster in the White House right now, and you literally voted for people who literally raised signs during the Republican National Convention saying, deport now, get them out,
That's just hateful.
You literally have no space in my world.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to talk to my mother, because my mother is very pro-Trump.
Yeah.
The last discussion, I had to call her for her birthday and I had a massive argument with her. I won't call her again. I'm done.
There's no get along to get along. I mean, there are lines drawn.
Yep.
People are acting absolutely unimaginably evil.
Yeah.
You know, you have Fox News being like the vocal broadcaster for the Trump regime and literally denigrating the woman who passed away, who got killed.
Yeah, it wasn't passing away. She got murdered.
Killed yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's,
you know,
I'm over
calling her, you know,
all sorts of stuff.
And Matt Walsh, you are beyond disgusting. What you did to the trans community is absolutely disgusting. But what you are doing now is even more horrific. Absolutely, the bottom of the barrel of humanity.
Deplorable people. Well, anyway, I don't want to get my blood pressure up, but I thank you guys.
Blair White.
Blair White, please.
Please. My goodness, Blair White. I can't believe how you have been such a loyal sycophant of your little dear leader over there in the White House, and that you literally believed that you're on the right side of history. When you're
going to learn the hard way, because
they'll come for you too.
They're coming for all of us.
They came for a white woman yesterday.
Yeah. So
it wasn't, you know, the Black community has known all about this. The Latino community has known about this.
Yeah.
But I guess white America is just kind of finding out.
Yeah, sure is. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Wake up, please. You know, be vigilant. You know, we can't continue this BS. We can't continue to support this evil, cruel administration. We can't continue to support the religious sector, the conservative sector. They are evil people. They're evil people. And we need to let our voices be heard. We love you guys. Also ending, you know, with the typical ending song. We love you guys. But remember to always love yourselves too. Subscribe, hit that notification button. And if you can, support the channel. And the links are down below. Love you guys. Be well.
Another year has gone by. How many more will it take to change this world? It seems that nothing's right. There is no warmth, no caring left at all. There is no feeling left or laughter. Our human nature has dissolved, and all that is left is fear and disaster. Why can't we learn to get along? This year has had much pain, so many deaths and children left to save. A bad economy, unequal terms. The poor, they have much need. There is no feeling left or laughter. Our human nature has dissolved, and all that lift and laughter. Our human nature will evolve. There will be light, no fear and laughter, and we will finally get along.